a show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on GTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Romney Turtola Pier Park, NV Salon, Nail Spa and Barbershop, Tisley Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.
This is The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition. With me in studio is Dr. Catherine Spitz. She's the Director of Culture here in the Virgin Islands. And we have the President of VICA, Ms. Melissa Potter. It's such a pleasure having you ladies on set. And when we see Dr. Smith in a cultural wear, and then we hear of VICA being in the house, we think nothing else but culture. We're in the month of November, where we're observing Culture Month. Not a culture day nor a culture week, but we're having Cultural Month this year. Dr. Smith, I know it all got started just about less than a week ago, and things seems to be progressing nicely. Just give us a background as to how the plannings are going, what has happened, what's to come, and why are we doing things this way this year?
Okay, this year we have our Culture and Tourism Month, Culture and Tourism, which is our partner. But of course we have other partners. We have right here with us Miss Melissa Potter of VICA, who this group has been a partner with us since the beginning in 2020. We just wrapped up our first week. So of course we started with our opening ceremony on Tuesday. But in addition to that, we had an arts expo that was open until 8 p.m. that evening. That was wonderful. Our local artists were on display. Then we commenced into the very popular and active literary festival. I was a part of that. Not only do we collaborate with HLSCC on that, but I was a part of that. The panel discussions, the multiple panel discussions happened on Friday. I saw the auditorium was packed. I participated in one that was in one of the classrooms. You know, they had to situate those all over the college. The Festival of Ideas, as we called it. They had a wonderful event that evening, and then the next day, our Writing with Writers workshops commenced. They were full.
Before you go on, the Festival of Events, give us a little rundown how that went, how was the support, what were some of the benefits derived from that event?
The benefits are so many, multiple, plural. On the Friday with I call it a Festival of Ideas, because that's how we were talking about it months ago when we started to organize it with the HLSCC. And between myself and Dr. Georges and the teams, it went so well. So many topics were discussed, from economic development to heritage. I know I was on the Ancestors Speak. Most definitely the popular ones were about poetry, the method and everything about poetry and writing, life in literature. There were, I think, 40 plus facilitators have come for that literary festival. It really has developed in a major way from last year. Last year, of course, we had last year, it was mostly virtual, to be honest with you, because of everything that was happening. This is the second literary festival, and we've been speaking, and next year will be even bigger. So it's just really good to have, sort of experts, facilitators come and have these discussions on the multiplicity of topics. Even climate change, talked about climate change, poetry, a life in literature, economic developments, and heritage, as I mentioned, and other topics. So it was active.
Of
Yes.
those 40, about those 40 plus,
Yes.
they were persons who came from overseas, or they were all from here in the Virgin Islands who all just converged there in the college?
You know, we had a nice mixture.
Mm.
We had our local representatives on panel discussions, and then we had persons who came and were brought in from overseas, regionally, internationally. It's
Awesome.
yeah. Congratulations to our partner, also HLICC, in the collaboration. Yes.
Okay. So thereafter,
And then on the Saturday, we kicked in with our Writing with Writers workshop series, and those workshops were filled. They happened between 9 and 5 on the Saturday at Maria's by the Sea conference room. And at the same time, of course, we had our local office book fair in the dining hall that had been transformed.
I literally saw that. I mean, I was at Maria's by the Sea on Saturday, and I'm like, oh. And I did see that, I poked my nose because I was not dressed for that. Yeah, but I poked my nose and I really, really saw what was going on and saw the support that was poured in. Despite it was such a rainy day, the rain fell that day. But it shows the interest of persons in the culture and in what is being showcased, that despite we're going through a stormy day, the roads are not the safest, the hills are not the safest to come through, but persons did come out. And then we saw there in the dining hall where the display was, people just keep coming and going, coming and going, and I was there sitting Marie's by the Sea having breakfast, and I'm peeping over and see, okay, she came, look at what he's looking at, So I know that you are indeed telling the truth of, how this really unfolded. And, it gives you every reason to continue to do what you're doing.
Yes. I just want to say here too, it was so rainy. I want to say a special thank you for my team at Culture. They showed up, showed out. And as you're saying right now, the event went quite well, and we know that we have to continue. We're bridging the gap between our authors, who are so plentiful and excellent, but yet the community that resides here there's not a connection there. So we're going to be doing more regarding that. The poetry competition in the evening was canceled because by that time, I know the weather had deteriorated and college conditions could not facilitate that, but I have been assured that will be happening later on this year.
Oh, so it would not happen at all in November.
It wouldn't. No, it's not going to be. The month is packed.
Yes.
Okay. But they're going to bring it back.
That one is one of the things that many were looking forward for. That one, you can be assured that the auditorium would have been filled. Yes, definitely.
Yes. It's
experiencing what poetry would have done in different locations prior to this one. So coming down now to this week. We want to zero in on Friday. We want to zero in on Saturday because big things are going on.
Yes.
Yes, lead me
Okay,
in.
just before I have my collaborator here, Miss Melissa Potter, speak, I will speak on the event on Friday. So this is the week, everybody, for cultural dance. Cultural dances, we have so many. There is a collective of cultural dance. We have been working with everybody in this area, and we had I'll tell you, for example, we had our session yesterday at Elmore Stout High School. The presentation, the history of, the origin of, how are these dances connected? And then we had the heritage dancers there, and I'll tell you something, the 12th graders took part.
Wow.
Oh, they came up, they learned the steps, they danced with the heritage dancers. They embraced cultural dance. And the Mokojumbi display, Roberto Harrigan, otherwise known as Tico, was there with his team. And let me tell you, that was really nice. That was nice to see them there in front of the kids. Yes, in front of the 12th graders.
For some reason, although I see the Mokojambis perform so often, I really never took note of Tico being one of them on that set until USVI Friendship Day, when it was like, you do this all the time, and he was so good, along with the others, some of my friends, I really didn't know, sometimes we see these stilts walking up and down, and all we're interested is passing through the legs or watching them do the dance. We never really necessarily pay attention to the faces, but it's good to know the personalities who are up there doing this. And it's I'm so happy to see that the kids are really buying into this.
Oh yes, they embraced it. Right after this this morning, I head to the Virgin Islands School of Technical Studies, and we have brought over Claudia Kruger Educational Center to join them. I think they're 11th graders, and we're going to make the same presentation that continues throughout the week. So it's very exciting. BVI Optimum Sky Dancers. That is the name of the Mokojumbi troupe that Tico
is a part of.
Yes,
okay.
yes. So the big event is happening on Friday. It starts at 7 p.m. It's free, everybody. It starts at 7 p.m. at the Eileen Parsons Auditorium, which is the auditorium at HLSCC. We have an entire story and celebration of cultural dance there. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that the heritage dances, that they're in full force. The person we've been working the most with, I want to thank her, Mrs. Heather Butcher.
As always.
Yes, as always. And do you know that we earlier we reached out to the dance community in the BVI to ask them if they would embrace cultural dance, BVI cultural dance, and they all agreed. So they all had a positive, acceptance of cultural dance. And at the end of it, and at the end of all the organizing with all the schedules, we now have BVI heritage dancers, but we will have BVI Heritage Dancers with the BVI Dance School. They're going to be doing a number. And we have BVI Heritage Dancers with Adagio Dance School. They're going to be doing a number. And Heritage Dancers on their own. Of course, Tico, Roberto Harrigan, will be out there with the BVI Optimum Sky Dancers. We have the Sounds of Steel, and we have the original Fungi Band itself. So the evening is going to be music and dance. And now I want to give you the major surprise. We have a cultural group coming from St. Croix, between St. Croix and St. Thomas. Yes, we do. We have the creative consultant for that cultural group is Dr. Shenzira Davis Kahina, right? And she's coming with the Bambula Cultural Group, VIUS. Bambula Cultural Group, VIUS. We have a shared culture with the USVI. We've been kind of introducing a Department of Culture, our African dance, the Kung Fu or the Kamfu.
Yeah, we had a long discussion about the Kung Fu.
Yes, we've been doing that. Yes, and to develop that dance even more authentically, we hope to be working with Dr. Chen, as she's called. And so she will be here with our group, and did the Bambula, their version, their authentic, their very, very vibrant cultural dance. They'll be, demonstrating, performing on Friday.
What time that starts?
7 p.m.
Okay.
Yes. And I just want to say here a bit about Dr. Chen. She's a founding director of Per Ankh Institute, former director of the VI Caribbean Cultural Center, president of the Caribbean Studies Association, founder of Asked Speak Consultancy, president of St. Croix Toastmasters 933 and Area 26, director of Caribbean District 31. I could go on. I could go on. There's more here that I will say for the night.
So she knows what she's up to.
Yes, she does.
She knows what she's up to.
And I want to encourage everyone to come out on this Friday, the 11th, 7 p.m. at the Eileen Parsons Auditorium at HLSCC.
Awesome. Saturday, Ms. Viker. Yes. We know how passionate you are about the culture of the Virgin Islands and doing all these little stuffy, trying to bring my memories back to my childhood days, playing marbles and jacks. But yeah, I really don't know this one. But it seems to resemble something that we call in Guyana buktap. So
we call it spintop here.
It's a seed of a fruit that we pierce through, and we put in a stick like that is protruding out of that, and with a cord we and set it and it gone spinning So I'm thinking that's something like that.
Sounds like the original. The original is what you have. We have the,
All right.
the upgraded or a definition where they can put it in the market.
Wow.
Sometimes it's good to get right back to nature.
To nature,
So maybe
yes.
one day we can figure out and explore and see how close. Because I think that is how we
Next time I
started.
know someone come in, I'll ask them to send me some seeds.
Yes,
I mean,
and see
sit
how
and
we
make
can.
it,
Yes.
because I think I can still remember
Awesome,
how to make
awesome. Shared experiences. Shared experiences.
That talks about the Hearts of Saturday.
Yes. I'm always excited. Just like you said, I'm very passionate about culture in our territory. The Virgin Islands Communal Association, as you know, is an organization geared towards the promotion and preservation of our Virgin Islands culture. And of course, our aim is to advocate, educate, show face, and constantly keep the focus of others of our swiftly fading culture. Now, I have to say this, make this a statement to the public. How well do you know your Virgin Islands history and culture, the place where you live? Sometimes, all times actually, it's important to know the history and culture of where you live. This morning I was listening to the news and I heard the director for tourism, which was interesting. And he said that he visited many places and people usually travel from place to place to learn about culture. I remember, I always like to say this, I remember when I went to Hawaii, that's why I went there. I wanted to learn of the culture. When I went to Paris, I wanted to learn more, so I went into the history areas. When I went to England, the same thing. When I went to Connecticut, I learned about the Native American Indians. So that is really what people do. So I was glad when I heard the director for tourism say that, because that is something that is very important. It's very important. You cannot leave culture out. So I want to, extend an invitation to the general public to come out on Saturday and have a cultural ball with us. We're going to have some old time fun. We're going to be playing with the spin top. We're going to be playing jacks. Everybody knows jacks. You know jacks, right? Okay, now.
Jacks,
and then we have a special prize coming from our cultural icon for those who win the marble, the marble well competition.
While I remember that this is a marble from seeing it, I really can't remember how the game is played. Yeah.
Come out on Saturday and you'll see.
We gotta say it again.
You come on out with me, you're gonna have a little marble contest and see how it goes. I don't know. You do your way and I do my way. I will see which one is the best winner. And now I just also wanted to say to the people, a people without a knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Marcus Garvey. So come on out Saturday morning at 9 a.m. The lineup will be a spoken word. Of course, Virgin Islands people, we are Christian community. Yes. Regardless of whether people think so or not, we still are a Christian community. So we'll have a spoken word. Then you know what we're going to be doing, Kathy? We're going to have a competition on traditional goat soup. So come with your bowl. I'll have some bowls. Come and get your sample.
Now she's preparing me to not cook on Saturday.
Come and get your sample of that nice goat soup by Mr. Benaldo. Fred, he's going to be a demonstrator. He's going to be doing a demonstration. Then we're going to have my favorite fish soup, the traditional Virgin Islands fish soup.
Wow.
Miss Call Me Thomas. She's going to come. And also dumb bread. Live demonstration
right
there in front of you. Ain't no makeup thing, we ain't doing nothing at home. Live and on 3 stones, that goat soup will be cooked. So we're going to have a traditional ball together. And then after that, we'll have the dumb bread demonstration. And then we're going to have a friendly competition. 3-legged race, we all know what that is.
Yeah.
I got a new one for you, for both of you. The kata bundle race. Who've heard of that? Kata.
Kata bundle race.
Tell me
the
about
kata.
this. Yes, you added
The
this.
kata. You put it on your head, the thing that the old people used to put on their head before they put their bundle.
The cloth that you're
yes,
wrapping like
we're going to be
circle.
using the natural. We're going to take it from the natural, the Virgin Islanders. Before we had the cloth, we used to take the banana shags.
Oh.
The banana shag, and they make the kata.
Like a pot like on your head.
Yes,
to fit the
man.
basket
And we're going to have a bundle race. You're going to put a bucket of nice something in there. We're going to put a nice something in there.
So don't run this thing too fast.
All right.
We got to get it clear. Because some people going to want to be practicing before this. Right?
I think so.
Make sure
I think I'm going to start practicing
So for the kata, what is the competition? To make it and put it on your
That's
head
right.
and run someplace or
That's
something?
right, to the finish line. We're going to have a starting point and a finish line. So we're going to have a table there. You set out, somebody will be there if you need assistance. Set your cutter for your head. Then you put your bucket of water on top of it. You have to get up there and make sure that you're professional.
No problem.
Yeah, I got it. I got that. And you make sure that you're professional. I'm a cutter professional now. You know?
Okay, I see.
So you make sure that you can hold steady. They said long ago, the older folks used to put their cutter on their head, put their bundle of bananas or whatever, or a bucket, and they would grab the two buckets underneath them, straight not
up.
looking anywhere, straight ahead.
Yeah.
And lift that and they walk miles and miles.
Baskets too,
Yes,
and
and
big bags of food.
I'm amazed. I don't know how they did it, but to God be the glory.
I'm gonna tell you. I mean, I like telling my story as well.
Course,
you know,
of course.
These cultural things bring back memories. The one image I have so prominent in my vision of my grandmother, God rest her soul, is that time that there was a recession or something going on where, you know, things were really bad in Guyana. And all I could remember is one of our friends in the neighborhood come running, screaming, yeah, come, go get your grandmother. She was coming from miles away with baskets on her head and those heavy bags in her hand, so that her daughter, who has 7 little picnic, to bring in food for us.
Wow,
and it was so much that we ran with the go-kart through that thick sand and going. So this, oh gosh.
Memory lane. I'm glad I'm able to go down memory lane. Then we're going to have the lime and spoon race, the dry the marble well, of course, the bill tie obstacle race, tug of war. Come and see who's the strongest. Pull that rope. We're going to have jump rope. We're trying to see if we can get the whisk from the natural tree, so that could be the jump rope.
So the jump rope, the type you skip with.
Yes,
we're
we're going to have a skipping competition.
Okay.
But we might be able to use the whisk long ago. We have somebody who's going to look into the hillsides of the country and see if
Find
they
a
can
whisk.
find, yes.
Okay.
And then we're going to have a name that bush competition.
Oh.
We're going to find 5 local bushes for you to sniff. I wonder what that one is. And then
Named,
and then we're going to have the Virgin Islands history trivia, 10 questions. Be the buzzer. We're going to have to do a raise your hand buzzer. And then who can get the questions the fastest. They're not going to be hard questions. It's all about us learning together the culture of where we live. Being able to enjoy and appreciate what it is. We're going to have a competition first with, supposed to be with 2 clubs. I don't want to call their names because they still haven't confirmed. And then we're going to do something with the young people. We're hoping to get about 50 or 60 young people out there, 30, 40. And I hope, just like Kathy said, that they will come out and really embrace the culture.
Yes.
Not just because Tico is dancing up there with some nice music, they jump up, you know. I'm going to see what they're made of on Saturday. We're going to see what they're made of. So then we also have some activities for the public. And then, of course, our annual wonderful cultural extravaganza. The Sankey Sing Out. A lady just called and said another group wants to sing.
Okay.
Praise the Lord. And then we're going to have storytelling. Hopefully we'll get Mr. Stouty out there to give us a nice bacchanal story of the Virgin Islands. It was going to be awesome. And then, of course, the difference, we may have some similarities, but the grand difference is we're going to have a bonfire.
Yes.
As usual.
Yeah.
And you know, the first year we had 1 lit. The second year we had 2 lit, and this year, guess what?
3?
We're gonna have 3 lit.
Okay.
We're gonna start setting them up today at the field. So we're gonna have 3 lit in anniversary of our 3rd year of doing the annual bonfire. Now, folks, we're not gonna go over 3 because you don't know what could happen in Road Town. You know, there's a story in 19-something where something happened in Road Town where it got. I wouldn't say anymore. You know what I'm talking about.
We'll talk about it
yes,
after, so that my memory can be refreshed.
Okay, so we're not going to go more than 3, I think.
Okay.
So, but we'll do those 3, and of course we'll have some of the same similarities. We'll have the heritage dancers. And the Virgin Islands Communal Association would like to, as Dr. Kathy said, specially recognize the heritage dancers for all the wonderful work that they have been doing to constantly, through weather, through storm, through sunlight, through laughter, through rain, through tears,
Through pandemic,
and
through
uphold proud
Yes.
of Virgin Islands culture, that swiftly fading culture that we cannot let die.
Well, evolving
regardless.
culture. I don't think it's fading, but it's evolving. But you want to have some memory of that root part of it, and I think that's what's happening.
I'm going to-
but keep it alive.
I'm going to repeat. Swiftly fading, but with us, together, we'll have it evolve and remain where it belongs.
Oh, stand corrected.
No, you're not correct. You're right. But I just like to say it that way. Because people need to be reminded, if you don't participate, if you don't be active, if you don't integrate and understand where you are and have an appreciation, then where are you? Why? Why are you where you are?
Yeah.
Have an appreciation, have a love, and embrace. When I go somewhere else, I embrace. I enjoy.
Yeah,
I
because it's something
indulge.
different.
I do.
Yes, You know, experiencing the different cultures is always so good. So,
And I want to just close on this with, again, what the director for the tourism director
Yes.
also said this morning. He talked about the foods. Too often we have people come and open restaurants, and there's not a local dish in the restaurant.
Yes.
I would like to appeal to the government of the Virgin Islands to change that. It is necessary, whether people want to order it or not, it must have at least 3 different local dishes on there that represents the territory of the country where in which you are. It is important because tourists do want to understand, they want to taste, they want to embrace. So it should be there. So I'm appealing that they will definitely change that. And I would stop going to restaurants where I have all kind of everything else. And not a piece of fried fish, please. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. McCoy, at our opening, at our press conference, the Director of Tourism, it was so interesting, as Ms. Potter speaking, Melissa, that the press conference for Culture and Tourism Month, he let us know that, I can't remember the percentage, it was high, 70 or 80% of travelers look for culture when they travel.
Yes,
And he also
yes.
said there that you'll be happy to know that Tourist Board will be encouraging restaurants to put more of the local dishes
Awesome.
on their menu. He made that announcement. I do remember that because that resonated.
yes. Well, great.
So even though he was not here with us, his presence remained, because what he said
We're all at that
resonated
press
with all of
conference
us.
or those things that he said.
Yes.
But I think this is great. I mean, you riled up something in me. Once it's there, it comes alive when you hear things like this, like remembering my granny and, coming to save her grandbabies, with food and
Yes,
stuff.
wonderful.
And I know for a fact this is some of the experiences so many of us would have had and, love to relive it. Events like on Saturdays where you can go share those stories with others, and bring us all back together in that space. Friday at the Eileen Parsons Auditorium. What a day what an evening to have an experience with the cultural dance and music. So, quickly wrap up, how we are to put ourselves together for this weekend.
Yes, okay, so as you just mentioned, Friday evening beginning at 7 p.m. at the Eileen Parsons Auditorium at HLSCC. Saturday at the festival grounds all day. VICA has really stepped it up. I want to say that our theme for this month, and they're coming in so well with this, is the past is present, embracing Virgin Islands cultural or Virgin Islands traditions. And I just want to let everyone know now, you'll be hearing a lot about the return of Fungi Fest, which we're collaborating with the Pear Park, with Honorable, this is all under the umbrella of Honorable Maduro Keynes. Collaborating with, of course, Mrs. Francis Smith Boopy. All of us, we're working together. Pear Park, 25th of November, wear your culture wear on that day, and everybody look forward to that.
Awesome. Remember that the past is present. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition of The Big Story.